times just to play. What about
Sounds good.
Austin for you, Jack?
Austin. Oh, you know that the city of Austin, Texas is essentially perfect. I would say freedom, food, and friendliness.
Oh,
My three F's for Austin. It's a
dude,
beautiful place. Alrighty, and then I'll hit you with our last city for this little exercise. What is your three words for Austin?
I will say my three words are going to be diners, drive-ins, and dives. Damn, did we eat good food there?
That is a city full of good food. So for all of our listeners, if you ever get a chance to find your way to Austin, Texas, get you some barbecue, get you some breakfast tacos, everything in between.
Well, or just a little reset the room here, as we like to call it. This is Double Trouble with J&G. I'm Gunner.
And I'm Jack. And every Friday at 5 p.m. Central, we pour ourselves, count them, 1-2 fingers of bourbon. And we come together and banter about art, life, and everything in between. Gunnar, that brings us in a horrible segue to one of my favorite things in the world, pirates.
So I actually have a really good segue into this one. Jack is an interesting fellow here. Jack and I have known each other for a very long time, but Absolutely. Jack has this strange thing where whenever he hears the name Jack, regardless of the context, he thinks it's relating to him. And there's this lovely pirate by the name of Captain Jack Sparrow. So my question for you, Jack, I want to pick your brain a bit here.
Sure.
Captain Jack Sparrow, do you resonate with him? His name is Jack. What is your connection with him?
I feel that Captain Jack Sparrow and I share a spiritual connection. And I'll tell you why. Because I dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow for 6 years running for Halloween. I had the dreads. We had a little coin on the end. We had everything possible related to Jack Sparrow. Watched the first PG-13 movie I watched at like age 7, Pirates 1. First celebrity crush, Keira Knightley from Pirates 1. I mean, all of it, dude. All of it. It's the perfect movie. It's an unheralded classic if we really want to dive into the culture here. And having Johnny Depp run around the screen in this sort of oddly flamboyant fashion, screaming, "Where's the rum going? Why is all the rum always going?" is absolutely brilliant. I love it.
Now, do you know who his character was actually based off of?
I don't. I would love for some of that cultural enlightenment here.
Dude, Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones. That's who he based his persona.
No kidding. Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones is an interesting character. They say every cigarette you smoke takes a week off of your life and it gives it to Keith Richards. That's what the scientists tell me.
Yeah. Well, we love the Rolling Stones, and
we do love the Rolling Stones.
We love pirates so much.
I mean, sometimes those pirates too, they get into port and they get real rowdy because, sometimes they can't get no satisfaction when they're out there on the sea, That was terrible. All right, moving on. And
that was a damn shame.
If we're tying pirates now kind of back to art and culture, which is sort of the central nexus around which our little rinky-dink show here revolves. Why are pirates so culturally prevalent? Why are they everywhere? I mean, once Pirates of the Caribbean came out, it was like pirates were everywhere. What's with it?
Oh, dude, I have actually the perfect story that brings together all those three thoughts. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
So my old boss in New York was Jerry Schatzberg. He still is. He's alive. He's 93. Crazy man. Amazing. But he worked with Rolling Stones. He worked with people like Willie Nelson, And when he was working with these sort of there's this whole musical genre of the outlaw country singer, right?
Sure.
Like Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, those people. Willie Nelson was pot smoking and just against the, very libertarian vibes.
Very
Another Austin native. How about that?
Another Austin. Yeah, Willie Nelson. That's right.
And
all right.
There's something about this idea of the outlaw that people are drawn to, Billy the Kid, or someone like
we love these really criminals from the Old West oftentimes. And oftentimes, if we want to even get a little bit into the history of it, a lot of times these criminals were former Confederate soldiers. They were on the losing side of the Civil War, and they would go out there. They were trying to make their fortune. They had some really negative feelings towards the rest of the U.S. and they go out there and they steal and rob their way to kingdom come. So Yeah,
And
they're not
one
not
such
good people.
person who romanticized these figures was Oscar Wilde himself, you know?
Sure,
We learned
absolutely.
all of this, of course, in the class.
Oh, the American West that we took together here at Stanford. That took me a sec. Yeah, I don't remember. Not good at remembering class names, but there you go.
Yeah, dude, it was Zoom U. It was a weird time.
Zoom U is a very weird time, but we do love our outlaws, don't we?
You know what brings us together in weird times?
I have a thought.
What is it?
You ready for it? Sea shanties.
You're damn right. That's what I was looking for, Jack.
Boom, boom. It's almost like we have notes for this show now. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Sea
man.
shanties. Sea
Mhm.
shanties are sea shanties are incredible. Why do we love them though? I feel like there's not really a reason why. Like they've kind of made this resurgence in popular culture lately. Like what gives? What's the deal with sea shanties?
You know, so they're following this, you know, one sort of train of thought is they're singing these harmonies and they're really pleasing to the ear.
Sure.
I also want to posit this other thing.
Okay.
There is an awesome scene in the movie The Other Guys with Will Ferrell where they're in a
A
bar.
classic.
They're in a bar and they're singing like
Ah.
old like sailors' tales, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something, it's almost like it's like country music, but take the angst to a whole new level.
Interesting. Yeah.
There's a real world tale that they're saying, and they're like, you know, they're deeply troubled and tormented,
Yeah.
and they're on the seas, you know, and that's all they have to do is
I
just
mean, and
sing
they
it
can't
out.
get no satisfaction out there. So they're
But they
really
try.
that damn it, they tried. Damn it, they tried. Them old Keith Richards out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about the bonding aspects of like singing together. You know, when
Mm-hmm.
you and your friends maybe pre-COVID and hopefully soon again, you're at like the club and Mr. Brightside comes on and everyone knows the words to Mr. Brightside. You know, and I just can't look because it's killing me. But but you know, we all know the lyrics to Mr. Brightside. You're screaming the lyrics to it. You know, your fist swinging in the air, and you're all having a good time. There's something deeply comforting about singing with people.
Dude, I had this crazy idea. I was like,
Okay.
okay, what if you took, so you, I think a lot of people know the experience of walking into this crowded house. Maybe it's like a frat house or just someplace where a party's going on, right? And the music's blaring and there's people jumping up and down, chanting the lyrics of the song.
Yes.
What if you took that and almost like a Kids Bop record, you just released that as an album of music, just the chant,
Whoa.
like, oh, rah, rah,
So
you know?
it could be called fraternal sounds or something. Sounds of fraternity. I think we have a platinum record on our hands here, Mr. Danje. I think this little brainstorming session is going to be quite fruitful for our musical careers.
It's really slice of life, really salt of the earth,
It's
and that's
very
the
salt. It's very salt
reference.
of the earth. It's very salt to the earth. Exactly. And you know, I think we could get some serious satisfaction out of it. So we wouldn't be continuing to listen to the sweet tunes of the Rolling Stones and commiserating with them too much.
And that was a long string of either references.
Or you don't get it. You know, and it was a pretty crooked line to all those references.
It's pretty crooked path. Yeah. Well, speaking of things I don't get,
Oh boy.
this is the really great segue. Okay.
Oh no.
Luis is in the audience. Luis, I'm gonna level with you here. This is something I don't get. Back in the day, I'm gonna set you the scene. The tides are high, you know, sailors are weary from their travels, and off in the distance, the sun is setting, and there's this glorious ebb and flow of the water, and in the sunset, they see this something beautiful, something smooth skinned and plump, and it appears to them to be a mermaid. But really, in actuality, these were manatees.
Yeah.
And pirates back in the day and sailors, you know, I think this has been sort of debunked, but I don't really know. And you know, they say it's debunked, but
Magical realism.
Magical realism. Basically, what we're trying to say is people used to fuck manatees.
People
And
used
I
to
don't
fuck
get it.
manatees.
I don't get it. Jack, what do you think?
I mean, we have already established as a sailor, correct, that you can't get no satisfaction.
Well, you try.
But you try, and you try, and you try, and you try. However, manatees must have started looking pretty damn tasty after a while because evidently we're so gonna get Somebody's gonna find this,
Okay.
and we're gonna get fired from our jobs at some point in the future.
Yeah, this is an interesting train of thought we have here, but we're gonna keep it running, dude.
We're gonna keep this train. This train's rolling out of the station right into a brick wall,
Well,
but
because
we're gonna keep it rolling.
This is what I'm saying. I know you're on the open sea. I know it's been
Okay.
a long journey, sometimes years at a time, right? You got scurvy, you're all mangled, and you're just like, oh my God, like the end is not in sight, you know? But dude, like a manatee is like a cow.
A
How
manatee
can
looks
you
like an
use
animal.
that?
There's nothing anthropomorphic about a manatee. It is a sea cow. They literally call them sea cows or sea dogs. Yeah, that there's nothing remotely human about a manatee.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, they're
makes you
so
wonder
affected.
how insecure in their masculinity these pirates were, because I mean, they did have each other after all, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they
I
did.
mean,
You know?
that could have been a solution, but they
Hey,
obviously didn't take it.
and that's life in the city, you know?
That's just life in the city, you know. And it's either a reference or,
Or
you
you
know,
don't get
or
it.
you don't get it, and that's
I
just
have a
life in the
feeling
city.
that no one will get it.
Well, why don't we set the scene and explain the origin story for that's just life in the city? Because I feel like it would be unfair to make a reference and not have it in the archive of our
So,
culture here at
yeah, dude.
JNG.
I think this is the lore of Double Trouble with J&G.
Sure.
So this is really long. Whoa, this is back in San Francisco. My first summer in San Francisco, I was living with a bunch of people who went to Stanford with Jack and I, and apparently there was a Stanford professor who, during one of his lectures, he was like, "Well, that's just life in the city." And what made it funny was that
Oh man.
this man like had no connection to like hard life in the city or anything. Like he was just saying, he was pulling it out of his ass. And so when we
Talking
were
out of his
living in
ass.
San Francisco, anytime something happened, any situation, we'd be like, it's just life in the city.
So we then co-opted this term when we lived together in Park City this
Yeah.
summer. We revived the usage of that's just life in the city
Yeah.
to fit our current situation as an ironic response to Park City's basically super safe nature.
Now, do you know what Park City is colloquially known as?
You want to try that one again? Colloquially?
Dude, no way I can pronounce that word. What
That's
is it?
fair.
Colloquially?
Colloquially.
Colloquially.
Well, this is certainly going to be fun to watch again. Continue with your point. I didn't mean to derail this
Well,
train heading towards a brick wall.
I was asking you, do you know what its name is in the common vernacular?
Oh, I do not.
It's called the Jewel of the Sun Belt.
The jewel of the Sun Belt. I believe that was my response to you calling Park City the City of Angels
Right.
far too often. And I was like, you know what? We need a new. The City of Angels is LA, and we all know that. We're gonna gift Park City a colloquial name. It will be known as the Jewel of the Sun Belt. What I did after that is I looked up where Park City is relative to, like, if it's even in the Sun Belt. It turns out it's not even close. I was completely off, and I think that makes it even better. So here we are.
Are you ready for this? Look, I got a stream of, oh my God, I have the best transitions.
Hit
So
me.
roll with me on this. So New
Yep.
York City, any idea what its big name is?
The Big Pear.
The Big Apple. Now, do you know why it's
Sure.
called the Big Apple?
I do not.
So it's called the Big Apple because back in the day they had horse racing, and horses something. Okay, well I'm completely forgetting the story, but something to do with horse racing, and all
Okay.
of these apples came from New York or something. And so in the horse racing community, they were like, "Oh, came from the Big Apple," and that's where it started. But
Interesting.
speaking of horses,
Oh no.
I wanted to bring up another story about, fucking animals.
Oh
Mr.
God.
Hands.
Oh,
Don't
no.
look up Mr. Hands on the internet because someone sent it to me and I looked it up. And dude, apparently,
Okay.
this dude would have sex with a horse, but the horse would have sex with him. And he died.
He died?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God. I mean, mammals is mammals and parts is parts, but when the parts don't fit, I mean, Woo! Holy
Well,
smokes.
yeah.
That was fun. Okay, Mr. Hands. Yeah, I'm also kind of perturbed at this whole animals are sexy thing. Like, what the
Oh,
fuck is up with like female Bugs Bunny in Space Jam? What the Sam fucking hell is that?
dude,
Jesus Christ, bro.
people like, okay, they're like, okay, we need to make Mickey Mouse more friendly. We need him to like become a human almost so that people will relate to them. But then they start making like the cartoon animals. Like it started with Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and they're making cartoons that look like that. And you're like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
what are you doing here?
Zootopia was particularly bad with that also. They anthropomorphized animals to an incredible extent.
Speaking of bring back, so one of our topics on this show that we routinely look at is art and culture, right? And we talk about art, life, and everything in between. I saw a virtual art exhibition, speaking
Okay.
of utopia, sex, and art, that
Wow.
featured,
Speaking
so
of Zootopia, sex, and art,
those are my 3 words for the city of Austin. That is,
Zootopia, sex, and art. There you go.
but but I saw an exhibition of works by this digital artist who was, I believe, UCLA fine art or MFA program or something like that. And it was like this exhibition of NFTs that were like furry NFTs. And like, dude,
Interesting.
there's a whole like subculture of people who like actually spend time producing works of art that are basically like furry porn, like
Yeah,
drawings of
they're
animals.
fetish works. A lot of I'm sure you've had people request you to draw them, some degenerate stuff in your day. But that's how a lot of like profitable artists will make money. That's their full-time job. They'll draw, smut for furries basically. And it all started with Bugs Bunny, sexy females, Bugs Bunny Space Jam, and now we have furries. This is where it's gotten us, god damn it.
This is
And I will
where we
not
are.
stand for it.
Well,
Because you know what? We need to be a little bit more like Tim Allen, a good, hardworking American man that was caught in the 70s with 650 grams of cocaine.
yep,
What?
cocaine.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something about Tim Allen. So,
Okay.
do you have any idea of like what ended up happening, what transpired after that incident?
No idea. I just know that fact is true.
Okay, so it was the late 70s, right? Tim Allen is caught with this amount of cocaine. And his career's sort of going off track. He's like, I need a way to get back into the game, the acting game. He's sort of been blacklisted. Reagan comes into power in the 80s, right?
Sure.
And spins this whole war on drugs. Your brain is eggs. This is what happens. Your brain on
Gotcha. Scramble the eggs of your brain kind of shit.
Little do people know this, but Tim Allen, his original sentence was 95 years in jail.
Wow.
95. But here's what they don't know is that his sentence was shortened. There's actually no record of the 95 anywhere.
Wow.
His sentence was shortened by the one and only Ronald Reagan.
No
And
kidding.
this was the deal. They call it the new clean deal is what they called it.
What about the deal? Is that in there somewhere too?
It was somewhere. But this was the deal. Ronnie Reagan sat Tim Allen up on his lap and he said, look, Timmy. He said, you will do, for the rest of your acting career, will do manual labor in terms of housing work for me, and you will be the spokesperson for the Republican Party. And Tim Allen said, I'll do it. And we got Home Improvement, the amazing show. And we got, Last Man Standing, which is still airing today.
Exactly. We also got Christmas with the Cranks, a 2004 Tim Allen classic. It's him and Jamie Lee Curtis, and they're planning on skipping Christmas. This is my movie plug for the day because I love this movie. I've watched this movie dozens of times with my family. It's our family favorite. Tim Allen, Jamie Lee Curtis are married in this movie, and their daughter's gonna come home for Christmas, but they've already decided to skip Christmas because this was gonna be the first Christmas that Blair wasn't gonna be there, and Blair's gonna come home now for Christmas, and they have to turn it around after skipping Christmas, and their whole neighborhood comes together, and it's a very heartwarming family story with tons of goofs and gaffs and giggles, and really an excellent time for the entire family. So 2004 classic. What's it called again? I don't remember.
Christmas with the Cranks.
Christmas with the Cranks. There it is.
Well, 1990. What was the year? It was a 1996 classic, Space Jam. We briefly talked about it with the sexy animals, but
Good Lord.
It reminds me of a little something, a little game, a little game some people might know of called basketball.
Aha.
March Madness.
March Madness, man. March Madness is quite the ride.
The ups and downs.
The ups and downs, the hims and haws, the everything in between, really is March Madness. So Gunnar, have we bet recently on March Madness?
Listen, Jack, I should win an award for how fucking bad I am at sports betting. I picked every game wrong.
I think I should go with you to the casino to sports bet, and then whatever you do, I'll just do the opposite.
Right. But sports betting, do you love it or hate it?
I think it's fun. I think it's real fun. And I think it's dangerous because there's this little thing about sports betting where we always think we have the inside track. We got a little piece of knowledge in the back of our mind. We always think we have a little bit of an edge. And Vegas knows, man. Vegas always knows better than we do. We think we can beat Vegas at their own game. And that's what I love about it. That's what I love and what I hate about it. Because if I look at, for example, an Ohio State football game, I think to myself, I read about the Buckeyes all day. I'm on the boards. I'm on everything, just reading up on the Buckeyes. Who's injured? Who's playing? Who's winning the cornerback battle this spring?
Right.
You know who else is doing that?
Who?
Las Vegas. And they're doing it a lot more than I am. And they got a whole team of analysts and number crunchers and all kinds of people. And they're working the numbers. They know exactly what they're getting themselves into.
They're good. The house always wins.
The house always wins. And that's the only constant about betting. However, if one of your one of your, Saturday parlays on maybe 4 football games, if one of those things hits and you make yourself a little stack of money after losing for, 6 or 7 weeks in a row, you feel like you knew it, I knew that. I had a little bit of inside baseball, I had a little bit of knowledge, and I did a little more research than Vegas, and I beat them at their own game. And that's the fun of sports betting.
This is what I'll say. I'll say that the biggest lie that Vegas ever told was telling people that they knew better than Vegas. Vegas even account for that. That's like some Kaiser Sose unusual suspect shit. Like the biggest lie the devil ever pulled, the biggest trick he ever pulled was making people think he didn't exist. That's Vegas. They want you to like buy in. They want you to go in there and
and they want you to think you have the inside track and that you know better than them.
I'm telling you, it's like manatees. They want you to think they're mermaids, but
this took a dark turn.
We almost escaped it, but they keep rolling us back in.
But honestly, there was nothing we could do there, man. There was really, really nothing we could do there.
Hey, Jack, where are you now? Where are you at?
Where am I? Oh, that's actually good to know. In our last couple of minutes, we'll do a little life update. I'm here on Stanford's campus. You can see behind me the beautiful sunshine. I'm not wearing a shirt because what the hell? Why would I?
Yeah, man.
And we're just having a good old time here on the campus. It's sunny, it's warm. We're not supposed to do much, but we're all outside, laying in the sun anyway. Socially distanced.
Fucking any die?
We are building a die table next week once the little moratorium on gatherings are lifted. The gentleman of Phi Kappa Psi will be building a folding portable die table.
Ooh.
And painting the top of it in all sorts of bespoke, beautiful patterns for our die hucking pleasure.
That sounds like a little bit of a Tim Allen home improvement right there.
I'm going to be deploying all the Tim Allen dad skills that I've acquired from good old Papa McManus over all these years. And we'll be going hard on the die table.
Damn.
Building that thing out. This will be my 3rd beer die table I've crafted in the last year of quarantine because I like drinking and I like drinking beer and I like drinking beer outside and I like throwing dice while I drink beer. I also like home improvement projects. So what the hell? Might as well make a couple die tables. No.
Damn right.
Because you know what? That's just life in the city.
In the city.
In the city.
Reference.
Or you don't get it.
No.
Wow. That's just how we do it over here at Double Trouble with J&G. So Gunnar, are you back in New York now or are you down in New Orleans?
Yeah, I'm out here in the City of Angels, New York City. The Big Apple.
The Big
And
Apple.
I like just got in like last night. So I'm still reaching out to all my peeps, getting in touch with everybody, seeing everybody got to see. Our new roommate just arrived for the first time. I'm about to go out there and meet him. That's
Wow.
crazy.
Okay. But you had to have yourself a White Russian first, get yourself fortified.
Look, I know we usually say 2 fingies, but dude, that White Russian was about 3 fingies high if I was counting right.
Well, I had a big night last night, so mine was about 1 finger. So between the two of us, we had about 4 fingers of bourbon. The math checks out, and I think we're in pretty good shape. Of course, a White Russian's not bourbon, but
well, speaking of math checking out, we have a strict number here on J&G. We
really
always
do.
cut it off exactly at 5:30 on
100%.
the dot.
100%. So at this point, we have reached the conclusion of basically things that we want to talk about today. We've done a little life updates. The haircut looks good, by the way. It looks like you got a nice little trim there.
Yeah,
little side stuff. So this is a little impetus for our listeners to go over to our YouTube channel. It's just Double Trouble with J&G. We have a little archive there. The last few weeks of episodes are not up there yet, but if you'd like to go check out our archive of our first 4 episodes, we're now on episode 7. Our first 4 episodes are up there on the old YouTube channel. Get us some clicks, get us some subscribers or whatever. I don't know. This is just going in the archive.
Subscribe, guys. Yeah.
Like and subscribe. Yeah, I feel like a tool doing that. So I'm not going to anymore. But the YouTube channel is there if you want to check out the old episodes and kind of join us on our little banterous journey and see the video of us on our little Zoom meetings. But for now, this has been Double Trouble with J&G. We're here every Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I am Jack, and I'm joined by
Gunnar Danger.
And we are here to banter about art, life, and everything in between. Happy Friday, y'all. Signing off.